Did Facebook's own study tell them that their platform reduces the quality of people's mental health? Are people's minis disappearing into random holes in the street in the UK? And why is Satoshi struggling right now with the crypto market the way it is? Welcome back to another episode of Temporally Scripted. We're here to take you through all the news, views, and a couple of other interesting things as they pop up. And I'm happy again, as always, to be joined here on this sunny Da Nang day by Adam Garcia. Adam, welcome.
Good morning. It's fantastic to be here, as always. And it is indeed a bright, sunny day.
Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to this one.
I'm definitely looking forward to this one for a change. The last one, I just wasn't really looking forward to, but this one, I literally can't wait.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, without further ado, let's get stuck into it this week. So this first story that came up from Reuters was the source, mentions that Facebook ran a study that they then buried because it's only been found by this US court findings that Facebook worsens the user's health. And then they shut down that research and downplayed the risks. That doesn't sound like the sort of thing a big friendly corporation like Meta would do, does it?
It really doesn't. And all of this happened back in 2020. And it was called Project Mercury, where they worked with Nielsen. And they got people to deactivate Facebook for a week. And the findings were that everyone reported depression, anxiety, loneliness, and social comparison. So basically, everyone quit it for a bit. Everyone felt better. And then it seems like Meta kind of went, well, we're not sure about this study. It seems quite unreliable. And this is a very complex issue. It's not so black and white.
When do you reckon he has that played every time he goes in a room? That would be just picturing him and Zuckerberg and all kinds of madness right now is just almost too much.
Because I think Zuck actually has the look of someone who would be in a sort of Leslie Nielsen movie. It's got that almost
as like some kind of robot.
Yeah, some kind of like mega geek / evil genius, which probably kind of is, allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he looks less robot-y now. He's like Jim and curly surf style hair guy, doesn't he? He looks like he's sort of morphing into Chris Martin a little bit over time.
Maybe. Do you think maybe they'll do a collaboration?
Oh, no.
I know you're a big Coldplay fan. Regular viewers will know.
a meta, you know, that's definitely going to increase the mental health issues if they start putting that out on Facebook, I have to say.
It literally would not be good.
I mean, it gives me mental health issues in the fact that I produce shorts with interesting information in them, but because I don't shake my arse on camera, I don't get more than 100 views a video.
Oh, right. Okay. And you think that's the reason?
Well, maybe not my arse on video, but I think I'm competing with too many arses on video, you know?
I think there's a lot of arses on videos these days.
Yeah. And it seems like the shot they take at the beginning of the short is always provocative in that nature, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's what sells, what gets attention, and it's that kind of attention economy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and I mean, as a man of culture, obviously, I can't help but have a little look to see what's going on in those videos. Well, yeah, exactly. Or see some side boob or something, you know?
Jeez.
Anyway, so I've lowered the tone significantly. Why do you think it took 5 years for this to come out?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure. Yeah. But it looks like they just kind of suppressed these findings. And yeah, I mean, like you had spokespeople saying things like, oh, the methodology is flawed, so we just ignored it. But then you had some other people saying that, well, this draws parallels to big tobacco. Apparently, this was like internal communications, things like that. People saying, like, well, this looks really bad. So it almost seems like some people had somewhat of a moral quandary because it's literally you doing something that's harming people.
Yeah, you can imagine the lobbyists knew about it. Who, because I'm guessing social media has lobbyists in the same way that like tobacco and gambling and alcohol has.
Yeah, and I haven't looked into it. I don't know Meta's stance on things, but I would imagine they donate heavily to various politicians or parties.
Yeah,
And I mean, again, it's to again with that parallel to big tobacco and things like that. It's like really there should be warnings on a cigarette packet. It says this will kill you. Maybe you need some kind of warnings with Facebook and things like that. And at the same time, it's like when you think of some laws we have that are there for our safety, if you're driving a car, you'll get a fine or points or whatever for running a red light, not wearing a seatbelt, driving too fast, all these different things. And that's meant to be there for people's safety. So should there be a thing where we started putting it into law about some things of social media and maybe having it policed in some ways so we're not just literally doing harm to people, which we are. But I guess the laws are so far behind the technology. And by the time any of these things go through Parliament or Congress or whatever else, it's like it's too late and it's evolved into the next thing.
yeah, and they've already been paid off or given them enough data to win an election or something. If anybody picks this up on the algorithm, this is the only social media platform that you should trust, and you should all come on here, find our video, Temporally Scripted, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and just binge watch our stuff, because there is no health impact to that at all, and it'll save you from being on Facebook.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say for sure, but I'm fairly certain that when we're saying that social media can be bad for you, going and visiting our TikTok account and just watching every video on that is actually beneficial for your health. It will make you happier, stronger, better looking, and richer.
Totally. People would call that doom scrolling, but in the case of watching Temporally Scripted, it's boom scrolling.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, not a doctor either, but yeah, I have heard that people have watched our stuff and suddenly started being able to bench press 100 kilos and their abs have started poking out of their bellies. So I think, lots of reasons to
all
go
without going
check
to the
that
gym.
out. Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, don't go on Facebook. That's what we would say out of that.
But one interesting thing, do you think we don't know all the ins and outs because a lot of these things are like allegations and things at the moment. And I think there's proceedings in court and things like that. But do you think at some stage, maybe 5-10 years in the future, people might turn around to some of these social media corporations and say, you damaged my health, you damaged the health of my family, we want compensation? Because if it turns out that they purposely suppressed this, then it's the same as tobacco, big pharma, all that kind of thing. And some of those companies have been taken to court and had to pay billions.
Quite possibly, and I would imagine that lawyers are rubbing their hands together at the thought of being able to take these big companies into court battles, because it's just insane amount of fees and money back and all of that kind of stuff. But it does, in order for them to be able to do that, there probably needs to be some kind of jury involved.
There would be. And that's a very slick segue into the next story.
So the next story is all about this. When I saw it yesterday, I had a quick scan of it. It was from The Guardian, which is a high quality journalistic source. In the UK, David Lammy, who is the Justice Secretary in the UK. For those of you who don't know what a Justice Secretary is, it's probably in America called the Jail Minister or something. You know, like they have the War Minister instead of the Defense Minister. It's probably called the Jail Immigrant Minister or whatever. And
it's all just Orwell, really, isn't it? One way or another. They have a Ministry of Love where they execute people. It's all that kind of thing.
Cut their eyelids off and whatnot. So David Lammy is thinking, you know what? We've got this big problem in the economy. We've raised taxes. We need to save some from our budget. Why don't we just do away with juries and we can just make the decision about whether or not people are guilty?
I can't see what could possibly go wrong. Do you see any problems with this?
No, I mean, it seems totally reasonable and logical that like the system itself decides whether or not people go to jail for crime. It did say, to be fair, it said all but the most serious crimes. So if a crime is looking at more than 5 years jail time, then they would bring a jury in that case because it's deemed serious enough. But if we just start to like list the crimes that you can do and get less than 5 years, it's quite a list of things. Like ABH is on there, so actual bodily harm. GBH is on there. I know because I've been arrested and charged with both of them and in Crown Court for them as well. And I wasn't guilty of either, but I could have been jailed by the system if they'd have just done what they said happened, which didn't, right?
Can you imagine being in a situation where you end up having trials where you're just there stood in a room, you've got like a defense and a prosecution, and then one judge, and he's deciding, what do you think? It's insane.
And he's also deciding based on the witness statements that the police took.
I don't know. It just seems like there's so many possible issues with this, but it's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, the police being one of those issues. You see quite a lot now, the videos of different police officers and stuff, and the bar has lowered significantly, hasn't it, in terms of who gets given jobs as police.
But at the same time, if your main duties include knocking on people's doors and arresting them for social media posts, I guess how high does the bar have to be? You know, it's like...
Yeah, I saw a video the other day of this guy. He was just recording the police. People record the police, don't they, sometimes these days, just because it's our right to do so. And there was this woman police officer, and she was like, "Oh, recording us, are you? Bit pervy, isn't it?" And it's like, what? You're supposed to be like, what? Like, and she was making a joke about it and an accusation like she's allowed to, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the entry criteria is these days. I know like 20 years ago, it used to be pretty strict. There was like a lot of things that you had to tick the right boxes for. I don't know if some of those boxes are even there anymore or what actual tests they do.
There's a new box. It says your IQ's got to be less than 100.
Right. And you got to be really lazy.
Yeah, and preferably if you could be like physically weak, that would be good as well. If you can just be out of shape, physically weak, skinny,
wicked,
able to balance a tall hat on your head.
And that's the main thing.
Willing to turn a blind eye against people that actually have a cause and arrest others that do.
And just often enforcing absolutely ludicrous laws. Like we covered it before where we had that woman that was fined for putting some coffee down a drain. We see often where it's just the police going after all like the petty things. And then when it's actual major crime, I don't know, it seems like those kinds of things go unsolved. Or even just the crime that really affects people's lives, like burglary, which there's a lot of. It's like police just won't do anything about it. But I mean, going back to this thing, it just So this is just saying that he's considering it, and it sounds like it was just kind of like a leak, as they do every so often when they want to test for water. But I think there's going to be a lot of backlash, and I don't think we can go ahead with it. I mean, just think how bad that would be, because it's all just dependent on that judge. That judge could be having a bad day, could be in a bad mood. The opposite, he could be in a really good mood, lets everyone off. Who knows? There's that thing of, I can't remember what it is, but you make your mind up about someone within the first so many seconds of meeting them or seeing them. And it's just like that. It's like someone walks in, he's like, don't like the look of this guy, guilty, before you've even had a trial. And to have everything just closed and just have 4 people present, which seems to be what they're considering, just having that as a trial. And that's mental.
Yeah.
There's that, oh, well, it's for nothing serious, only things like 5 years and up. There's some pretty serious things on there. And for someone to get sentenced to like 4.5 years when they were innocent, that's pretty bad.
4 years and 364 days.
Yeah, I just under. Never mind.
Ah, what a shame, sir. Look at what you could have won. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if with some of the justice, well, for one, I can see why they need to save money, because the system is just at a breaking point with everything, and they have to save money somewhere. That's what happens when your debt to GDP ratio becomes equal and you're having to fork out so much just to service the debt, which is only going to get worse. I wonder if we're not far off getting to a point where it's AI that we could use to take care of some of this. You could have the case, the hearing. You could have a transcript of all of them, put one into ChatGPT, one into Claude, and see what they come up with.
I like the AI judge, jury, executioner idea. Maybe we could get AIs to start running the jails as well. Possibly they'd get stop less of the drones coming in, packed with whatever they're packed with. But the thing that makes it even more scary is like the judge, obviously, yeah, he can have a good day, a bad day. If I decide that I'm going to go in wearing a dress and no wig, I'm probably going to get off because he'll find it funny. But like at the end of the day, a judge is at least well educated and probably been through the legal system for quite some time and seen enough cases to get like an idea about people. Now, that doesn't mean that it's okay for that judge to make the decision. The bit that's really scary is he's making his decision based on the police and the Crown Prosecution Service. So, because the police and the witnesses of that crime that's how they give the information through, right? And then usually what happens is the lawyers will present that information and question and argue that information. So if the judge is just given like a big pack of info that's been put together by the Crown Prosecution Service, who are there to prosecute, then do you end up saving money on court trials but having more people in jail, which we already have a problem because we don't have enough prisons? They're already full. Or do they just say, do you know what, because there's no public impact, just let people go? Like, unless, they did something serious and it's 5 years in jail, let's just let them off.
Which is, even since I was a kid, that's something that always baffled me about this sort of system as well, where someone does something, they go, okay, that's 5 years, but then they'd be out in like 2.5. Or it was always like half of the actual sentence. And it always seemed such a bizarre thing. And it seems to still go on now, or it seems to go on more where it's just kind of like, oh, you didn't, okay, well, that's like suspended sentence or something, and like never actually see the inside of a jail cell, really, which I guess some of that must be to do with overcrowding and lack of resources.
Well, it's for good behavior. So which makes me laugh. It's like,
you're in there for mugging an old lady, but you're out now reformed, good behavior.
Yeah, it's like when you watch football and a goalkeeper saves it and it's like, oh, what an amazing save. It's like, that's your job, bro. You get paid to do that.
Yeah, when I worked in a bar, it wasn't often that I'd pour someone a pint and I'd go, "Oh, that's amazing. Well done." You
What a
just
legend. Yeah,
so
look
it
what
was.
he's done here. When I was in the call center, my manager didn't come and give me a little hooray every time I answered the phone.
Yeah.
It's, it is bizarre, but I wonder what the thought process behind, maybe it is just leaking stuff. It's like the equivalent of making a post on social media before you build an offer. Maybe MP David David Lammy, was just thinking he could release something to take a bit of pressure off him for all the other stuff that he says that makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we get a lot of that going on as well, where there's lots of distraction and things like that. So you've got like the budget going through at the moment. So maybe you throw this out there as well. Just take a bit of heat off, get people looking in this direction, get them less angry about whatever's happened in the budget or whatever else. Remember when
Yeah,
it
well,
was back in the day when it was like 9/11 and it was like the Labour Party in power at the time, and there was communications that came out later on. There was some politicians saying to each other, "This is a great day to bury bad news," and so we're using like the big thing of 9/11 over the top to sort of put other things out there and not have people pay attention.
yeah, yeah. And I wonder as well, it's like there is a little bit of a nuance in this, because as I remember, the magistrates court already operates like this, I think. I don't think you have a jury in a magistrates court. And so magistrates is basically, there's like three of them, and they make the decision as a committee. And that's usually things that are like less than 2 years jail. I think the maximum jail time you can give in a magistrates court is 2 years.
See, that model kind of makes more sense than what seems to be proposed here, where it's just a single judge. And I think people just find it really sort of dystopian, because it's always been that thing as well of like you have the right to be tried by your peers and for them to make the decision, whereas just for one guy to do it, I don't know. It's almost like the state just going, "Okay, we're deciding what to do with you."
It's a bit like Judge Dredd.
I am the law.
You just get done there and then. Maybe that'll save loads of money if we do that, because we've got those cool robots now that we've seen a couple of episodes that are really controlled by low-paid workers in a third world country somewhere. Maybe we should just do that. The police can stay at home, control a robot, and then they just decide. And you can be the judge on whether or not that's a good idea.
Again, fantastic ending to a segment.
And speaking of judgment and judging, how would you judge the crypto market right now?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because it always is. I think one more leg up over into January, and then it pukes from there. And also, that's not financial advice.
Not financial advice, everybody, and we don't really know. But I personally think it's done. I think it's finished, and it's not going to leg up again. I think it might recover a bit and then go down lower.
Yeah,
But
thinking like 100K on Bitcoin, something like that. Possibly all-time highs. Just depends what's going on with a couple of other things, I think.
yeah, and I do think that your opinion on Bitcoin and crypto is generally stewarded by your investment level. Like right now, I don't have any crypto at all. So I'm like, yeah, it's going to go down. It's done. That's it. It's finished. Whereas if you're sat with bags, you're like, no, it's going to be another leg up before it's done.
That is very true. I mean, same here. It's like I think I've got about $50 worth of Ethereum or something like that. I have no real skin in the game. If that goes back up again, I'll cash it out. I didn't do great with it, but made like a little bit of money this cycle, which was nice. And just through like simple things of actually like buying some and just waiting, rather than trying to like trade it or do any like crazy stuff. And it was a couple of coins where it was like every week it seemed like I was just drawing a little bit of money out, a little bit of profit.
Is it Warren Buffett that says it's time in the market, not timing the market, is like the key to everything? I think one of the things, even with investments in general, it's like go and buy some land 20 miles out from the city center and the main street of any town in the world, wait 25 years and then sell it because you'll make tons of profit. But the reason we brought this up is because obviously the inventor, the creator of Bitcoin is Satoshi, and Satoshi's fortune is obviously shrinking quite significantly because of Bitcoin's dip. I mean, I'm sure I think we should maybe think about doing some kind of crowdfunder or something for him, because he lost about $41 billion in terms of his overall wealth. And he must be a little bit concerned that, buying more governments is going to be a little bit out of his range soon. Now he's only worth 137 million.
Which is kind of crazy. So yeah, what was it? About a month ago, he would have been the 11th richest person in the world. I mean, I don't understand all the ins and outs of this, but as I understand it, Satoshi Nakamoto creates Bitcoin and he keeps 1.1 million Bitcoin in a wallet. And with Bitcoin, there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in existence, which is nuts. And people are like, oh, well, he's a good guy, or he's just going to burn that crypto, or I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he's not, but we just don't know anything about who that is. And it's one of the things that I always find funny with crypto. It's like, well, with Bitcoin, it's amazing technology. It seems to be actual money or currency that has intrinsic value. It's like, it's amazing in so many ways. And you can't print more of it. There's only so many. But then when one person has like a 20th of all of the Bitcoin in the world, I don't know, when we just don't know who that person is, because, okay, we've had Bitcoin at like 100,000, things like that. What happens when it goes to like 200K, 500K, a million? All of a sudden, someone becomes like by far the most richest person on the planet. And there's just something about that I find a bit concerning. The mass adoption of Bitcoin, it could be great, but does anyone have a clue who this is? And is it just, as the story goes, just some like cool sort of almost like Guy Fawkes kind of freedom fighting computer programmer? Is it a computer programmer from like the CIA or the NSA or something? Is it something else? Where is this even coming from? Could this be created by some government department in Russia? We just don't know. For me, that's one of the major things with Bitcoin, but I just find it a bit uncertain.
Yeah, it could be Bill Gates. That's a scary thought, isn't it? 20% of the world's farmland and 20% of the world's money would be quite a strong position to be in, wouldn't it?
It really would.
I hope it's Elon or something. That would be,
Yeah, so I kind of do in a way.
Making decisions from his lair while, he's had half a gram of K or something. But yeah, it's interesting. Like crypto and Bitcoin and stuff. It's almost like it's its own ecosystem and society as well. So one of my good friends who as well, he was traveling back to the UK a few weeks ago, and I messaged him, say, oh yeah, how was it? He was like, oh, I'm so glad I got back before the crash. And I was like, oh, what's happened? Is everybody okay? Like, what crash? Has something gone on? I don't, hope everyone's all right, man. He's like, oh no, the Bitcoin crash. And he just assumed that I knew what he was going to be talking about.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think there's been some horrific road accident.
I'm so focused on what I'm doing. I had no idea the crypto market had crashed. It's not on my social media. Like, it doesn't get advertised to me. I don't get people telling me that I can become a millionaire in the next 2 hours if I give them 10K. Like, there's none of this stuff out there for me. So I genuinely didn't know. I was like concerned, waiting for him to message me back, like a full-time job. Like, I know I've had crypto before, and you buy something that's maybe a bit risky. It's called, like, you know, dog and cat coin or something,
fart coin
and
or whatever.
yeah, and you find yourself like checking it every 20 minutes. And then I've even had it where I'm trying to sleep at night and I'm like, wake up and have a little look at the chart, and it's common amongst traders. So it makes you think, doesn't it? It's like most people that get involved lose money. Like, I think it's some crazy percentage. And not only that, you're pretty much on 24 hours a day. It's in your mind 24 hours a day when you're doing these things. How much of a financial reward is it, really?
I think it's just that it's for the possibility of financial reward. And I think it is a little bit like a lottery, and
Casino.
because there's many coins that you could get in, and all of a sudden it's done like 100x or something like that because you got in so early. And so that potential to make money is really huge. That's what makes people go for it. Sometimes you could get one of those, but you're not guaranteed. And you might get really addicted to it and spend a lot of years trying, and then just working and taking out loans and different things just to fund trading. It's not always a good way to go. Also, I think people tend to do this thing where they go, okay, right, how much of my net worth shall I put into my trading account? 50%? It's like, if you put that much in, it's going to give you stress. If you go like, okay, I've got this tiny amount that's 5% of my net worth or something like that, that's not life-changing stuff in terms of how much money you'll make, but also it's not life-changing stuff in the amount of money that you'll lose. And if you're trading with money that you can't afford to lose, it's going to give you a heart attack. Or if it's sizable sums, because it's just nuts. And there's so many other ways to hang on to it and grow that money other than putting it into the crypto market that's so volatile, and you can just have a crash at any time, get liquidated or wicked out on the trip. It's mad.
One of my good friends is involved heavily in meme coins. And basically the way they work is like micro level Ponzi schemes. So what happens is one of them in their group will have an idea for a coin that matches the meta. And then 10 of them or 15 of them in this first group will get that alpha and they'll all buy some. And then they tell the second level, and then they tell the third level. And then it goes out to the general population of all of these calls and their network. So everyone buys it. And then the guys in the first group, they all tell each other when they're going to sell. They get out, and then the second level gets out, and then the public are left like holding the bag.
Yeah.
And that's basically how it works on every coin. Now, sometimes they'll get mass public appeal, like Mudeng, which was some animal in Thailand or whatever. But certainly the Solana-based coins, rather than the Ethereum ones, it's most of the guys in these groups, and I know, are the top calls in Solana. And they're all in on it right from the beginning. And the reason it's not illegal is because there's no regulation. So, and that's why you had things like Pump Fun. I've created coins on Pump Fun before, like a year ago or whatever. And you put in like $200 and the market cap's straight at like $6,000.
Whoa.
So there's no $6,000 in there. It's just, you put in a couple of $100 and it starts then at $6,000. So the actual money in them is usually like 10% of the market cap or whatever. And yeah, so basically it's just a total scam unless you know the right people. You can make money, but you need to network and figure out the right people and get inside those rooms where people are launching stuff. And even then you don't know how many wallets they have and how many secret wallets they've got. So they might buy in on the first level and then also get in on the second level. So you're like, oh yeah, it's doing really well. And then they both shouldn't at the same time, you know?
Yeah, and you've got like these layers and layers of deception and everyone trying to just outsmart each other whilst pretending to
Yeah.
help each other out and, oh, join my group. It's really good. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, my strategy will be after things calm down and die, because I've watched this market go 3 or 4 times, will be to buy like $500 or $1,000 a month of Bitcoin and just sit on it, because inevitably in 4 years it's going to go again, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it enough times to just buy it and hold it.
Yeah, I mean, there is that thing they say, like, Bitcoin is like a store of value and things like that, which I always find it kind of funny because it's like on a long time frame, yeah, sure, because you can see over like, I don't know, years and years and decades, you can see it keeps going up and to the right. But if I have a certain amount of wealth and I go, okay, I'm going to put this into gold, the gold price does fluctuate, but it does go up. And if I need it in an emergency, I can take it out. But with Bitcoin, it's like if I need it in an emergency and it's 70% down from like all-time highs, that is not a good store of value. You know?
And I also, it might be that I'm a layman on it, I don't even see what the use of it is yet either. But has it actually got a use case now yet for blockchain and what it does? Like, I don't
think
know.
there's various. Maybe we should come back and look at it another time.
Another
Because
time.
that's something I haven't looked into so much either.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's like one of those things that has a ton of potential, but it's not actually realized in any way yet. And it could well be that I misunderstand it. And I'm sure a couple of my friends are watching this right now and being like, what's this David Lammy level human talking about? But yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. So moving on, I don't have a good seg. Oh wait, yeah.
Are you all ready for this?
So speaking of things dropping down and going into holes in the ground, there's a dude in Cornwall in the UK who woke up one morning because his neighbor knocked on the door, and his neighbor said to him, "Oh, your car's fallen into a hole, mate." It's like, oh, so he's going out expecting it to be something small, and his car is literally in a massive hole in the ground. I am going to show this to the audience so that they can get a little bit of context.
Oh, see, this was in the Guardian as well.
But yeah, the Earth ate my Mini.
That's pretty unlucky.
Yeah, it is pretty unlucky. I suppose you could read it both ways. It's lucky and unlucky. It's lucky in the sense that, you know, his car fell in the hole and it wasn't him walking past his front window.
Yeah, there is that.
That's quite lucky.
I guess the sinkhole could have taken out the whole of that building or something like that. But it just took his car, which, yeah, it's not a good thing to wake up to, I guess.
It makes me question how many like places in the UK have these abandoned mines underneath, because the talk is that there's probably an old mine shaft falling through. In Cornwall, it would be tin mining, probably.
Yeah, it's tin or copper from what I read. But yeah, there must be a lot of those throughout the UK, I would think.
Yeah, and it's even more sad because the car passed its MOT in October, and the mechanic told him it was the nicest Mini that he'd ever seen. But he said,
"Well, not for long."
His exact words were, "It's the nicest Mini that he's ever had on his ramp."
Right. Well, that's nice. And yeah, wasn't he trying to save up money or something like that? So he thought, I'll get like a small car, save on petrol, then I can spend that money on my kids or something about university or saving for the future. And then a few days later, it's like, no, the earth swallowed it up. It's gone.
It's probably the most British sentence I've ever read. I'd finally felt like I was getting somewhere. I had a reliable little car that was economical and easy to keep on the road. It meant I could finally focus on trying to save up to take my daughter on her dream trip to Japan one day. So this is what the council have done to solve this problem. They've left the Mini in there, right? And they've built
Wow, that is some health and
fences
safety.
all around. Yeah, extra fences around the fences. Like
So-
in Vietnam, you just have some dude in flip-flops pulling out of the road.
Or you'd have nothing. Just use your common sense and don't go near the massive hole in the ground with a car sticking out of it. But that's really extreme because that was like 2 rows of fences. They're taking up what, like maybe 20, 30 square meters of land.
Yeah, and I bet the people that put the fences up had to be specialist trained people that are already aware of how to work near holes, kind of like the bomb squad.
Probably, yeah. I bet that whole operation's cost about 10 grand by now.
At least, yeah, at least. I bet it is 10 grand of taxpayers' money that could have been spent on jury duty. But instead, we're just going to jail people at random and continue to put ridiculous fences around things that don't need them.
Yeah, I only sort of skimmed through that article, but I remember reading something about there's some kind of dispute over whose land it is and who's actually responsible, because no one really owns it or has a claim to that particular bit. So it's not under the council's jurisdiction. No one's got a stake in it. So it could be there for months, years, don't know.
Fantastic. It just shows you, does it then become a landmark? I know Cornwall is quite a touristy place. Should we go and see the tin mines? Let's go down to Penzance, and on the way back, we'll pop and see the mini sinkhole. Maybe that's how the guy can pay for the trip to take his daughter to Japan, is just start charging entrance tickets for people to come along and look at the
Mini, get some merch on the go, and it'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's it. You know, that on a t-shirt with a fence around it. I mean, what more could you want? It's incredible.
Exactly. So what's the next excellent segue into the next part?
Yeah, so we're going to lighten the mood a little bit before we go into our usual top 5 finisher for the day. So there's a contest in China called the lying flat contest, which, to be fair, that does sound, at my age, that does sound like a lovely way to spend 33 hours. There's a shopping center contest in Inner Mongolia, which I guess must be in China. It says China in the title, where you have to lie on a mattress for as long as you possibly can in a contest. And the winner managed 33 hours of lying flat. Sure.
Well, yeah, which is part of it actually, because it comes from, it's basically slang, lying flat. So it's like the youth have got this mindset of resisting overwork and just doing the bare minimum. I guess because in some countries, well, no, in China, they're expected to work a lot. They had to lie down on the mattresses in this store, which was good publicity for the store, I guess. But they were not allowed to get up. They couldn't leave the mattress. They couldn't go to the toilet. They were, however, allowed to roll over, read, use their phones, and order food. So many contestants were wearing like nappies or diapers for how many US viewers, and that was it. After 33 hours and 9 minutes, there was only 3 participants left out of the original 240. And so then the organizers made them raise their arms and legs, and whoever dropped last was the winner.
Lovely.
And so this 20-year guy won it, and he got about 3,000 yuan, which is about 330 pounds.
Yeah, that's so $10 an hour.
It's all right, isn't it, in some ways?
Well, it depends if you have to shit your kecks.
I guess there is a bit of a downside.
And I mean, ordering food, surely you're better off going hungry.
Yeah, maybe.
And at what stage do you gamble on like spoiling your nappy? Are you allowed to change your nappy while you're on this bed, or are you just that's it?
It didn't go into that level of depth. Some shoddy reporting, really, on behalf of NDTV.com.
Yeah, I wish I'd known about that, because that, that would make it easier to comment on this. But yeah, I
then
mean, what?
if other people around you on these mattresses have been using their nappies and there's a bit of a smell in the air, are you still going to want to be ordering food anyway?
So that, like, imagine if you do after 8 hours, most people are gone. It's only going to be a couple more hours, and then you're there for like another 23 hours.
Yeah, rough.
Or even worse, if you got to 32 hours and you're like, right, I can't hold it anymore, and then you do it, and
yeah, and you just had like an
hour.
Exactly.
Then you got to hold your legs up, and
but you just got to think of the money, all £330 of the money.
Terrible. So let's move on to our final segment of the day. So obviously Black Friday was a couple of days ago, and today's top 5 is all about the top 5 Black Friday stories. So Adam, take us away with these stories, my friend.
So we have 5, it's a mix of really nice things and then just awful things, really. So for number 1, we have the Walmart door-busting stampede that killed an employee. This was back in 2008 at a Walmart, and yeah, one of the employees was trampled to death in a stampede as a crowd of about 2,000 shoppers went through the door at 5 a.m. on Black Friday. But I mean, I don't know, it's just crazy to have that happen. Then literally, I remember seeing the video years ago when this happened, and it's just the doors get broken down and it's literally a stampede of people desperate to buy things. So desperate, in fact, that they'll trample over someone, because people must have noticed, left from there going, no, I want a new telly more than this person wants life.
Yeah, I mean, he should have got out of the way.
Maybe. But
it reminds me of working in supermarkets when I was younger, in my late teens, and the manager would be like, so if someone comes in and they're trying to steal or they want to rob the tills, this is the protocol. I'm like, fuck that, mate. Take it. Do you want a hand?
I'll get you a bag. It's all right. Hang on, mate.
I'm not raising the alarm if someone comes in to try and steal money out of this till when I get paid like £4 an hour.
Yeah.
Take it. Here you go. The safe's open.
But yeah, I mean, you have some jobs that are dangerous and you get paid danger money. The supermarket isn't paying you that kind of money. So
no, I don't want to make any assumptions, because that would be terrible for this guy and his family and
stuff. Okay, well, the next one was from 2011. There was a woman, again at Walmart, this time in California. She really wanted to get a discount on an Xbox, so she ended up pepper spraying around 20 people, including children, during a midnight Black Friday sale.
Oh, wow. Thank you, CBS, for that story. That's brilliant. So did she do any jail time, I wonder? That would be interesting.
I don't know, but she did claim through her lawyer that she used spray to protect her teenage children, saying they were being punched and kicked in the scramble for the consoles. But
wow.
we really don't know.
I mean, why don't they just do these things online and then you come with your ticket to pick it up?
Yeah.
Or you could just go the other way and do like a bum fights style.
Right. Whoever wins gets an Xbox.
Yeah, or like, Royal Rumble, every 30 seconds they let another shopper run and get in the ring, and that. And you got
one of them's got a chair or something.
Everyone signs a disclaimer. Yeah. That would be much more fun.
Nice.
I like it.
Right.
What's
Number
next?
3. In 2014, 30,000 people literally bought boxes of poo. And this was so Cards Against Humanity which I'm sure a few people will be familiar with. They ran an anti-sale. So instead of having a discount on their products, they sold a box, and the box was just labeled bullshit. And this sold for $6. And they told customers it contained it contained actual bull feces. And yeah, about 30,000 people bought it anyway. And I guess people thought it'd be something else, or for some reason didn't believe that actually sell. But yeah, they got the box, opened it up, and it was dried cow dung.
That's shitty, isn't it?
It is. It's a really crap Black Friday deal. But yeah, the good thing was they gave all the profits to a charity, which was kind of nice in a way. It's a good way to raise some money. And again, it raises their profile as well. So it's probably a good marketing move.
I wonder if you can still buy those vintage. I wonder how much one of them's worth
Maybe.
now. That they were worth $6. I bet if I go onto eBay,
it's worth more than a Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can find this aged bullshit. That's amazing. Okay, what have we got next?
So there's an outdoor brand called Patagonia, and they tried to flip Black Friday on its head by announcing that it would donate 100% of its global Black Friday sales to grassroots environmental groups, which was kind of nice. So they expected that they'd get 2 million. They ended up doing 10 million in a single day. And so all of that just went to various groups to sort of help the environment. Apparently, how much of that money, once you get these non-government organizations and charities, how much of that money doesn't get used on salaries, I'm not sure, but it's a nice sentiment.
Yeah, always bringing a little bit of sunshine into people's worlds, aren't we, Adam? I like that.
Exactly.
Do you think this counted on the sales from like the market stores in Hanoi of Patagonia products?
Yeah, perhaps not.
Or are those maybe counterfeit ones? Yeah, that's good though. I like that idea, and it sounds like they did.
Yeah, I think they actually did, which is
it's good. Yeah, it's clever for sure.
And the last one. So there's an outdoor co-op called REI. And they sort of said, well, what if we closed on Black Friday instead? And they launched the Opt Outside campaign, where they shut all the stores for the day and paid employees to spend time outdoors instead of selling stuff. And that was back in 2015. But they still do it now. So Black Friday, every year, they close their 195 stores and give 14,000 employees a paid day off and just let them go outside and do whatever they want, have a good time.
But doesn't that restore your faith in humanity just a little bit?
Yeah, it does. Although I always think how much of this is like a marketing thing as well, because it's a bit like, Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager. Well, he made merch and like buttons and badges and different things that'd say, I love Elvis. He also made a load of merch that says, I hate Elvis, or Elvis is a jerk, things like that. This is kind of the same thing. It's like you can be Black Friday sale, last chance, or you can be anti-Black Friday. It's like we're doing the exact opposite, and people go, oh, right, yeah, I hate Black Friday. This company's cool.
On Saturday.
Yeah, or just some other random time of year.
Yeah. They just move it slightly. It's all marketing. The whole world, every part of it. Speaking of which, my Black Friday offer is in the links down below. If you'd like to get it, closes on Cyber Monday. Off you go. But yeah, joking aside. So everybody, that wraps us up for this week. Thank you very much for sticking with us and watching our whole episode. If you did get through this far, our deranged ramblings, then please like, subscribe, leave us a comment, send us $10, whatever you like, whatever feels good.
Yeah, anyway, my friend, that was good fun. And everyone should leave us a comment, like, share, subscribe. It really does help us out at this stage, and it would be great to hear from some of you folks out there. So take care of yourselves and see you next time.
Goodbye.